All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church, building community, inspiring growth, creating change. Here in the heart of Kansas City, we come together to create this hour of shared reflection so that we might be renewed in courage for these times and inspired to lives of greater dignity, higher purpose, deeper generosity, and more effective action. If you are new to Unitarian Universalism or to our congregation, we want to get to know you and share a part of your journey. If this place is already your spiritual home, welcome once more. We need one another, and it is good to be together again. Through the gifts of technology, we also gather virtually to celebrate community and connections as we lean into the values of justice, compassion, and reason. Welcome to all those who are joining us in this way today. Together, we learn the love that has the power to overcome both loneliness in the heart and oppression in the world. Welcome to our service this morning. May the words and music and images that we offer today nourish our best selves, calling forth abundant wisdom and love.
Arise, O souls, oh, arise.
Good morning. I'm Don Dickey, a member of All Souls, and it's my privilege to greet you here on this crisp, clear Sunday morning where we don't have the feet of snow they have in Buffalo, New York. Echoing the message in the video, we welcome those who are here in person and those who have joined us online, who have chosen to set aside this special time together. Our welcome extends to those who have been a part of All Souls for a long time, as well as those who are here for the first time. In this spirit of inclusion, after the service, please seek out the new faces among us and introduce yourself, and introduce them to others. It may be the beginning of long and wonderful relationships. Today is New Member Sunday. We acknowledge and celebrate the new members who have chosen to join us. Also, we celebrate Reverend Kendyl Gibbons' 10th year as our senior minister and Anthony Edwards' 15th year as our music director. Both of these individuals have contributed much to the life and vitality of this community. Now, we gather together to build and strengthen our relationships, and we do this weekly here at church and on other occasions. Two brief opportunities are currently available. One, around our lobby, we are exhibiting creative works from our members. Spend a little time taking a look at those, getting to know the creative side of your fellow congregants. Also, coming up will be the holiday Yule Box, and they will begin following the December 4th Yule Box, where the Board of Trustees kicks off our season, and ending with the one on January 8th, where we burn the goat. So plan on attending. You get to meet new people, strengthen existing relationships, and if you want to consider hosting, take a look at the schedule, and between those two dates, where we begin and end the season, schedule one of your own, and you will get to meet new people. For her third sermon, we again warmly welcome to the pulpit our new minister, Reverend Erin Dajka Holley. In the process of getting to know each other, Reverend Holley will share part of her personal odyssey, leading to her becoming a UU minister. So welcome, Reverend Holley, along with Reverend Gibbons.
holiday of Thanksgiving, to lift up our gratitude for all that blesses and sustains us, for the earth and its harvest, for our homes and those we love, for the ancestors who bequeathed us life and the dream of freedom, of justice, and for those who paid the price of that dream. And for the human compassion that forever moves us to welcome the stranger again and yet again, and to reach out to those in need. Today, we especially acknowledge the bonds of community that are woven over time, and we give thanks for those new members who join in covenant today, seeking to build together respect and care, growth in spirit, and a society of justice and compassion, who will become our friends and companions on the journey of life through the days to come. We also lift up gratitude for the time we have shared together, 15 years that Anthony Edwards has shared his talent with us as our music director, and 10 years that I have had the gift of serving the highest good with and through this congregation. Thanksgiving teaches us to recognize the enoughness of our lives, to see the abundance by which we are surrounded so constantly that we may often forget to notice it. It calls us to remember some parts of the story of our nation, the courage and perseverance of those who, generation after generation, arrive here with nothing except hope for a better future, as well as the courage and perseverance of those whose lands and labor and ways of life have been so often stolen in the service of empire. In our gratitude for what we have, let us call to mind also what we owe to the earth that so generously sustains us, but cannot thrive without our respect and protection, to the ancestors whose courage founded a nation aspiring to liberty and justice in the face of many forms of oppression, and all those who bless our lives by loving us and believing in us, especially to those who go in want and despair even in our midst. Let us, in these moments of reflection together, turn our minds to these things. Let us be present once more to the still center of our being, to that inner place of wordless wonder from which all thankfulness flows. Our history is not perfect, and our lives are not perfect. The world as we know it is far from perfect, yet we are surrounded on all sides by gifts and miracles. May our hearts be open to see, to give, to receive, to heal, to bless, to praise. And may the light we kindle as the symbol of our heritage and faith illuminate the abundance of the world we share and be reflected in the generosity and gratitude of our living.
Hello, my name is Tori. Good morning. I light this chalice for a free and responsible search for truth and meaning.
Please rise as you are able and join in song number 346, Come Sing a Song with Me.
Sing a song.
Can you see me? They have a step back here just for me. There, now can you see me? All right, great. It is with great honor that I get to introduce you to 9 new members today. I'm very thrilled to introduce these people to you. Many of you already know them. Our first one, we're going alphabetical. Devin Armstrong, come on down. Devin is originally from a small town in North Georgia, but moved to the Kansas City area about 5 years ago by way of Nashville. His hobbies include baking, reading, and knitting. So, needle hearts? There you go. New member. His husband, Jonathan, who could not make it today because he had to work, he's also a new member. And he were drawn to All Souls out of a desire to find a community of like-minded individuals with whom they could grow, and they feel very lucky to have found such a welcoming environment, and we're very glad you're here. Our next one up, Patricia Burrows Bishop. Her pronouns are she, her. After ending an 18-year marriage, Patricia moved to Kansas City last year and began working part-time in public relations and digital communications with a national nonprofit, which is a job she loves. That's always so awesome. She's also a graduate student, an arts enthusiast, art team, another member for that group, a social justice activist, and a chronically overscheduled person. Yeah, we all know what that is. Her new plan, however, is to slow down, to spend more time with the recently discovered love of her life, whom she intends to persuade to become her permanent life partner. So think about that, okay? Stay tuned on this score. Yeah, we will. Let us know. Decades ago, Patricia was a member of the Jamaica Plain area UU in Boston, but has more recently been active with the Ethical Society of St. Louis. In joining All Souls, she hopes to enjoy the fellowship of others who are actively living an ethical and compassionate life. It is a coincidence her prospective life partner is a longtime UU member, and they met on a dating app. Wow. A success story. Our next new member is Kathleen Forster. Kathleen has recently moved from a small town in California. Really? You came from balmy California? She enjoys traveling, cooking, reading, films, and spending time with her family. We're very glad that she decided to come to Kansas City. Rita Gao. Rita is excited and grateful about connecting with the community here at All Souls, having fun, growing, and serving together. She loves taking walks and hiking in the woods and to laugh. Ashley Gorman. If she could call herself anything, it would be a humanist. She's lived in Kansas City off and on for about 10 years and is a community manager, marketing analyst by trade, but trying hard to get back into the workforce after the transition and homeschooling of her girls for 12 years. Her 2 daughters are aged 13 and 20, and whom she hopes will join her here in the future. Well, we can't wait to meet them. She loves them with everything she is and is fiercely proud of everything they are, and she knows you will love them too. I'm sure we will. She loves singing, reading books. Hey, choir.
This morning.
Okay, good. Reading books about people more clever than her. Really? I'm sure you're very clever. Cooking delicious foods for friends. and trying to keep her garden alive. We've got plenty of gardeners who can help you. She exerts most of her anxious energy by being outdoorsy and active, making it a point to learn new things and trying to fix everyone's problems but her own. Yeah, I completely understand that one. Our next contestant is Dustin Guest. Come on down. Dustin is a public health nurse who enjoys being outdoors, photography, crafting, and board games. He enjoys spending time at parks with his dog Roxy, who is equal parts cute and ornery. Well, that's the best way to have a dog, right? Sometimes. John Harder. John is happy to become a member of All Souls because of the wonderful people and ideas he has discovered here. He is an artist, a truck driver who enjoys fishing, playing drums, and trees and forests. John looks forward to lots of learning and fellowship. Carrie, I'm combining their names. Ken and Terry McNiven. Come on down, you two. Ken loves the outdoors and saltwater reading. I don't know if that's reading saltwater or saltwater and reading, but travel and music. Terry loves caring for others, meeting new people, and exploring places near and far. They met in Ottawa, Kansas in 1973. Terry directed a 6-county anti-poverty agency, and Ken was a radio DJ. About 2 months after their first date, he asked Terry to marry him. Live on the radio. And lucky for him, she said yes. Their 2 daughters, 2 sons-in-laws, 2 grandsons, 2 granddaughters are sources of joy and wonder. Ken reported news, then was a press secretary in the Missouri Capitol, and then went back on active Army duty. Meanwhile, Terry combined care for their girls, even as she headed back to college to become an early childhood special education teacher. The most sacred time of her day is her early morning alone time with a good cup of joe and plenty of milk as the sun rises. Doesn't that sound awesome? With retirement, they returned to Missouri to be closer to that wonderful first family, and with the luck of the Irish, settled 2 blocks from All Souls to find another family, all of you. So please welcome. Class of 2022. Yeah. Okay. And we will now do our new member covenant, and it's right up here for you to read.
We're going to ask you to join together in the words that will appear on the screen. This is now my religious community. It is composed of people both like me and different. Together we make it what it is. I want this community to be a source of light and wholeness. It will be if I am. It will make generous gifts if I am a generous giver. It will be a friendly and welcoming place if I remember to reach out. It will be a responsible steward of resources if I participate responsibly in it. It will share beauty and challenging thought with other people if I invite them. It will be a community of fearlessness and faith, of loyalty and love. If I, who make it what it is, am filled with these. As I become a member of this congregation, I dedicate myself to the task of becoming all of the things I want my church to be. Now I invite us to join together with our newly joined congregants in speaking together the words of our community's covenant. Together we all affirm, goodwill is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth of love, and to help one another. Welcome. We give thanks for all of you. And now I think we have a message from Jane. Yes, no? Oh, okay.
Let us sing our children out. Classes.
You're just fine.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jane Henderson. I've been a member of this church since 1992, 30 years. As you can see, I'm also a member of the choir. When I joined the church, I also joined the choir, and that was my first introduction to Anthony Edwards, who was our music director at that time. This is Anthony's second time as our music director, although he has many other titles in this church as of now. You can hear how skilled he is at the piano, but here are a couple of insider observations. First, he can play any song ever written, and probably some that have not yet been written. Second, he cannot play a song straight without without improvisations and embellishments. He seems to get bored. Even in rehearsals, when he's going over our parts, just playing those parts seems to bore him, and pretty soon he launches into the accompaniment. So today we celebrate several different anniversaries and some new beginnings. Anthony as our music director for 15 years, Sarah Labar, our soprano section leader, has been here the same amount of time. And then we celebrate Kendyl's 10th anniversary as a minister of this church. On September the 2nd, 2012, I did the chalice lighting to welcome her to her new home. It is amazing to see how the time moves swiftly by. That's a quote from one of the songs that we sing today. In addition, we celebrate and welcome in our new members whom you've just met. That's a reference to another song we sing today. I choose to support this church financially because of what I get from it and what I am able to give to its life. If my voice, if all of our voices can bring someone joy or add to the messages of our ministers, how can I keep from singing? A quote from another song that we sing today. But I also know that we need to keep the lights on, heat the building, and support our religious education and community outreach efforts so that I can keep singing. I give what I can financially, and I give what I can physically so that we have this place in this community of people who inspire and challenge us, a community where love abides. That's another quote from the song we sing today. Today's offering will support the music and the religious education programs. Since these programs are not fully funded by the church's budget, we come to you periodically to ask for additional money to keep these church functions running. Here is my contribution above my pledge to help keep us singing. I hope you will join me today with a generous contribution of your own. The offering will now be gratefully received.
Okay, I'm going to also here talk about Anthony's 15th anniversary with us, and it's like I need a soundtrack for this. Start with some piano, of course, let it roll, layer in the voices, and then some opening credits. Anthony Edwards and All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church in How Can I Keep From Singing? And I'm also borrowing that title. That's from our morning's anthem. You're going to hear it. When tyrants tremble, when they hear the bells of freedom ringing, how can I keep from singing? You'll see what I mean. It's another one of those songs with the kind of melody and power in its words that we hear and carry inside ourselves, invoking and lifting up everything that draws us to this All Souls experience. It's joy that you hear. It's love. And if it were possible to fling the Sunday morning coral blossoms out by the force of love and joy alone, Anthony's got all that. Anthony's got all that. We feel it in the choir when we sing, and you feel it when you share in the music. And love and joy is good. But there's more, actually. It's like we got our own musical Patrick Mahomes here. There's a lot of talent involved. It springs through Anthony's fingers with such apparent ease that you lose sight of the studious work behind it all. Jane just talked about this. It's remarkable how the music just rolls out of him. The rhythm, the harmony, nothing stops it. Sometimes on some of those complicated Sunday mornings when there might be a last-minute program issue, microphone logistics, or a question needing answering, I've watched Anthony and Sarah sometimes lean in there together and start whispering. They're solving something. And this is while Anthony's in the middle of his prelude. I mean, it's like his fingers go on autopilot, and they just go on with his own flowery arrangements without pause, forever in rhythm, always in harmony. And then now while we're singing, in rehearsal or here in the performances, seemingly as easy as watering a garden, Anthony will modulate keys or throw in extra lines and notes into a complicated score as necessary to help his dedicated but mostly amateur choir just hit and hear our lines. So, and we appreciate that. But the best part of this for us here at All Souls is that Anthony throws this talent at this prodigious canon of music that he brings us. I mean, if you've been here long, you remember some of the special events, the Holocaust cantata, the Immigrant Experience, the Sing for the Cure, Prayers for Bobby, the Langston Hughes, Dream of Freedom, Vaughan Williams, Dona Nobis Pacem, Handel's Ode to St. Cecilia with the chamber orchestra, and coming this spring, the choral suite, Considering Matthew Shepard. I mean, so most definitely Anthony's talent, combined with all that he knows of the array of music, is special. Now, it's not just us who know this about Anthony. He's no secret weapon. And so, like imagine if, like, on a cold call, if there wasn't this philosophical, spiritual connection that All Souls has with Anthony, imagine a call by a nervous minister or a board member on a search committee. It's like, Mr. Edwards? Would you consider an offer to be our music director, maybe? I mean, because the person on the other end of the line is profoundly respected in the Kansas City musical community. He's the music director of Starlight, the Kansas City Repertory Theater, the Unicorn and Coterie Theaters. He is over and over again working with Kansas City's top musical talent and touring talents. And the best are right here in our choir. Adding to our years of good fortune, start with soprano and section leader and soloist Sarah Labar, who jumped in at the start of these 15 years, serving us fabulously as Anthony's sidekick, #1 lieutenant, our chief choir master. And then there are other section leaders and soloists, Shanda Jones, Darrington Clark, and Tom Lancaster. And we've had Seth Golay and visiting artists like Nedra Dixon, Angela Hagenbach, and Davida J. Wesley Bond. Musicians join us like percussionist Todd Barnard and harpist Debbie Clark. We have talents just drop in straight from the Kansas City Symphony. And all of this comes our way because we get to exist at the heart of Anthony's universe. And then, if I had at least 20 more minutes here, we could talk in proper detail about all the ways that when we got hit with the pandemic, that Anthony took on complicated audio and video demands, helping All Souls not only survive online during that confounding and challenging time, but thrive and grow when we needed All Souls more than ever. It's like Mahomes said, yeah, I'll play linebacker too. Now, Mahomes gets $500 million for what he does. Well, the choir, the staff, all the congregation, all of our All Souls family, we offer Anthony what we have, and that's all our heart, all our love, all our appreciation. We are so lucky that Anthony returned because, as Jane mentioned, he had been here once before. Some of us had a taste back in the 1990s when he was in this position, and before he left for Denver. And when he came back in 2007, he came with Scott. And that sure added to the fun. And, and we are so glad to see Scott. We see you here this morning. Thank you so much. And I will tell you, among the many gifts Scott has brought to All Souls, I will single out the culinary experience of breakfast. Zealously prepared by Scott on those occasions when we had the extra Saturday morning choir rehearsals. That was one heck of a way to boost choir participation. But it's a joy. It's been a joy, the whole experience. So thinking of Anthony and Scott and the music, it's all part of this All Souls movement that all of us here choose to be a part of, defending the love and dignity of every person, yearning for justice, believing always in the power of the human spirit in all of its possibilities. Anthony, for 15 years, has given our cause sound and voice, beauty and strength. It's eternal stuff. How could we ever keep from singing? Thank you, Anthony, from all of us.
Please remain standing. And we save a little time there. A choir only? Have a seat and enjoy the show.
Good morning. When I got this job, I asked, how in the Sam Hill do you discuss 10 years of devoted ministry in the time constraints we have? Seems we're always busy. So what I decided was that I, to get ready for this, would go in search of Kendyl Gibbons. And I did. I got my notepad and my church directory and my cell phone, and I called and met with people and talked and asked. The first thing I did was go to find Kendyl the minister. Didn't find her. Instead, I found Kendyl the teacher. The first person I talked to said, well, ministers come in two varieties, preachers and teachers. We got a teacher, and that's what suits this congregation. And yes, we have a teacher, but what a teacher. I could talk about her background, her credentials, her education till tomorrow afternoon. For me, her most important asset as a teacher is the way that she teaches. Kendyl teaches, you could describe her teaching practice as rational and respectful. She does most of her teaching from right here. It doesn't stop here. It goes through the classes she teaches and the people she talks to, even down to conversations I've had with her in the hallway. But at the pulpit, that's probably the best example. She comes out with a prepared, organized thesis or narrative or opinion or problem. And what she does is ask you to listen actively, to have something of a meeting of the minds with her, and to understand. And if you do that, your reward is to walk back out of Bragg Auditorium a little better educated, a little more deep in your understanding of this fascinating faith tradition that we share, a little bit better prepared to face a chaotic world outside than you did when you came in. I have heard people say that Kendyl's pulpit is the best pulpit of their lifetime. So I decided to go look for Kendyl, the center of activity, the administrator, the person who calls the tune. Didn't find her. Instead, I found Kendyl the leader. This is a labor of love. I found Kendyl the leader. Her leading style, as I became acquainted with it through the people I talked with, and definitely through my own experience, is collegial and empowering. That's the way one person put it. In fact, one person said, won't name him, one person said, in Kendyl, I found a colleague, a friend, a collaborator, and the best relationship I ever had with a minister. And as I listened, I realized he was describing my experience with Kendyl. She, not so long ago, asked me to do something that was intimidating for me. But I knew I couldn't back away from it. I knew if I didn't do it, I'd always regret not having done it. So I got through it. I did it. It was a lot of work. It was hard. It was scary. But I got it done. And eventually, I felt lucky that I'd been asked. And I told her so. And she says, yeah, I know. That's why I wouldn't let you off the hook. That's Kendyl, the teacher, and Kendyl, the leader. I got a chance to work on the Committee on Ministry, and it was an eye-opener. I won't go into great detail what we do, but we support and help and confer with the minister, discuss congregation problems. And what happened to me is that I got a whole new look at Kendyl and a whole new look and appreciation for both Kendyl and this church. And one thing I found that I hadn't really paid attention to before is Kendyl's passion. She is logical. She is careful. Don't mistake that for being dispassionate. She has a profound passion for justice, and in particular for social justice. I asked another member, a couple of members of the church, if you had this job, what would you say? And one of them said, I would certainly include the fact that Kendyl has re-energized and revitalized the social justice outreach program of which this church has always been so proud, and that's true. And I want to add in here that when we got Kendyl as a minister, we got a working team, Kendyl and Mark, and their contribution, their joint contribution to this church is probably best demonstrated by the hunger outreach team. Kendyl is the inspiration and Mark is the hands-on, and it's come back. We in this church have a consistent outreach program to the unhoused and the food insecure. And in addition, our church supports and provides facilities to other organizations in the community of like purpose and goal. Another thing that I found with Kendyl in the course of service in the Committee on Ministry has been her wisdom. Kendyl knows that wisdom is not a gift, and she works to accrue it. She builds her wisdom situation by situation, problem by problem, person by person. And she's had time to build quite a lot of it. Most recently, she's connected our ministerial search team with Reverend Erin, another example of taking care of us. And I said that to her. And she says, yeah, well, I'm taking care of myself too. I don't presume to speak for this congregation in most cases, but I did enough asking and enough thinking and enough drawing on my own observations. This one time I'm going to make an exception, and I'm going to speak for the congregation. And what I have to say is, for your ministry, Kendyl, from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you.
Hi. I'm here to represent the board. I'm the board president currently. So much has been said, so I'm doing it a little bit with a video.
As I look ahead to the future of this church, I hope for two qualities of community most of all. I hope that we aspire to lead by example and to lead by generosity and abundance. First, I hope that we seek to teach our new members and our children and the larger community around us, not by lecturing or scolding or instructing, but by showing. I hope we teach integrity by showing integrity in action. I hope we teach compassion by demonstrating it in our behavior. I hope we teach respect and acceptance by illustrating it in practice. I hope
This is who Kendyl is and how she leads us. As the board has followed her leadership, we have seen in every step this model. When I rolled my eyes about someone's idea at a board meeting, she, on the other hand, says, "Interesting, and how would that work?" She supports innovative, outside-the-box comments and ideas with an open mind and kindness. Kendyl, you are amazing and courageous in your ministry and in your personal journey. Thank you is hardly enough, but we will continue to look to your outstanding mentoring. Now about our
Good morning and welcome. My name is Anthony Edwards and I'm the music director here at All Souls. And I don't know how it happened, but I was placed in charge of today's service. But I hope that this is a meaningful and wonderful hour for all of you. Welcome, friends and members and visitors and guests. We gather today and every Sunday and say these words: goodwill is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Today we will listen and learn what each phrase of our covenant means to members of our congregation and how it applies in their lives. By examining and learning more about the covenant and ourselves, we invigorate the words that we speak every Sunday. As we begin our service today, we light the chalice in celebration for our beloved church community and our sacred covenant together.
You know, you've heard that philosophy that when you do a job, if you do it really well, look out, you're going to be asked to do it again. Guess what? This dynamic duo has continued to spin their magic every Sunday. Anthony shows love, flexibility, and unbelievable creativity as we have journeyed through the pandemic, and he has led us through these Sunday services creations during Kendyl's illness. He's now our music arts coordinator because he does his job so darn well. The board thanks both of you for your service, your patience, and your loving ways. You are indeed a dynamic duo. Thank you.
So much joy this morning. So much joy. We have welcomed this wonderful new group of members into our midst who have claimed us as their religious community. We have celebrated 10 years of the Reverend Dr. Kendyl Gibbons' ministry here and 15 years of Anthony Edwards' music leadership. Milestones for all of us, marking how our church community has been enriched by its professional leadership over the years
and continued to grow. We have so much to celebrate this morning. Because this church offers us something we need. That something will be different for each of us. And I invite you to listen to these words by Starhawk and look around the room or look inside of yourself to touch on what this church means to you. We are all longing to go home, to some place we have never been, a place half remembered and half envisioned we can only catch glimpses of from time to time. Community. Somewhere there are people to whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throats. Somewhere a circle of friends will open to receive us. Eyes will light up as we enter. Voices will celebrate with us whenever we come into our own power. Community means strength. That joins our strength to do the work that needs to be done. Arms to hold us when we falter. A circle of healing, a circle of friends, some place where we can be free. Did you hear something familiar in the words? A home in this community. Something brought you here for the first time. An invitation from a friend, curiosity, a hope to find something missing in your life. Something brought you here, and you found something in this place and these people. Something about who we are, how we do things, and what we talk about resonated with something inside of you that you decided to come back. Many of you, including those new members this morning, chose to sign the book because you have indeed found a home. As I have reflected on what home means to me, I have found that at its core, home is where I feel truly comfortable and safe. Comfortable and safe. It is the place where I can let down my guard and know that on the deepest level, it's okay. That I am okay. Even when everything around me feels as though it is unsure and scary, home is the feeling that I can still be settled, that I can be reassured. And that is what I hope that this place can be, or already is, for you. A place where you can trust that you and your truth are safe. Now, being church, it isn't easy. Just as being at home has its challenges, those of you who are new, just as I am new here, will learn through getting involved that we do not always agree. There are hard decisions to make, and it gets tough. What makes a home is the commitment to make amends, to have our covenant that binds us together. This is a community that loves, that can offer solace and comfort, a place you can call home, a people who may give you peace and joy. May each of us aspire to make this our home and a home for those around us. A blessing on all who enter here. Amen. May it be so. Please join in singing our hymn, number 1, May Nothing Evil Cross This Door. We release this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. May you be nurtured by this, your faith home. May that nurturing go with you into the world, that you know that you are not alone.